Radio check. How are we? We're here. We're alive and kicking. How is everyone on this fine Sunday evening? My mic's been very dodgy recently, so I need to hope that it's all good. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for Spa-Francorchamps, round number 8 around the 7-kilometre circuit of the Dory has retired from the session due to his qualifying ban. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps EFRL Racing League. Welcome in. So, we are here at the Belgian Grand Prix, Spa-Francorchamps, located in Belgium, Stabilo. 7.004 kilometre lap length, 4.34 miles if you're a miles type of guy. Race distance here, obviously, compared to real life, it is 308.052 in race distance, but because we do 50% races, we cut that all in half, so we have 154.026 kilometre race length. There's 22 laps around this very, very long circuit. Average speed of 230 kilometers an hour, and when you reach Blanchimont, you should be expecting speeds. That is, Blanchimont is turn 17 for reference. When you approach Blanchimont, you should be expecting to reach speeds of 315 kilometers an hour, and you see we're going through turns 10 and 11 here, the Pouon corner. 19 corners around here, 10 to the left and 9 are to the right. This is the highest elevation change of any Formula 1 circuit of 102.2 meter elevation. The lowest point, I believe, cut around this corner here of turn 15 at Courbevoie. And then the highest point being top of the hill through at the top of Air Rouge. Obviously, that was the last time out. We saw a man get there his first pole in the season. This Sev, if you look on the time page at P10, this Sev picking up his first ever pole position at the British Grand Prix, but couldn't stop the dominant charge of the current championship leader, the 4-time world champion overall, but the 2-time WHF world champion. Our first lap of qualifying has begun, and it is with oven chips down towards turn number 1. On board was the Haas, locking up massively. But why is that Haas on board very, very much different? I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. But going down towards the Air Rouge and running on to turn 1, absolute stinker. So, a lot of time already to be found in this lap, going down the long Kemmel Straight on towards the Le Comp chicane. Remember back to 2022 where Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton came together here on the opening lap. Through the Le Comp chicane we go, oven chips slinging that American-based car through the complex course. Obviously, the final year there will only be a sole American team on the grid. We'll be joined by Cadillac and oven chips, locking up at every single opportunity possible around the lap so far. Through No Name and down towards Pouon, down at around 310, 312 kilometers an hour, flat out through Pouon. And we go down towards the campus chicane through turn 12, then turn number 13, and then down towards turn 14 at Stavelot. We go, the name of the location of the track at Stavelot now, and then in the middle sector, 1 minute 15.420. Not a lot of battery deployment left. It's probably he's actually gonna run out by the time we get to Blanchimont. Going through turn 16 and 17 through Blanchimont, we go. Deploy is already used for the Haas, so he's actually going to just be recovering that battery as he makes his way down towards the bus stop chicane. He turned 18, turn 19 complex, but he does actually decide to dive into the pit lane. Next up will be a McLaren, I'm going to guess, maybe of Echo. Making note, it's not Echo, it might actually be the V-Carb of Ricardo. I haven't seen that name. Ricardo admits that McLaren had to dart out of the way there as he was getting ready to start now. So our first time so far is going to be a 1:42.125, but Womamex in the Sauber will be up next. I think the Sauber might be trying to work a bit of a tie. The Sauber over the line is a 1:42.618. Next up will be Gordon in the other Haas as he comes on the final corner. There's Aston diving into pit lane. Gordon goes up into P2. Where could the championship leader go? Provisional pole by 7/10 of a second there. There's an Alpine crossing over the line. I can actually find him in time. Dino Iron Saver as WC Arrow goes into the top 3. And there'll be a Williams up next of SSR Halo. Michael Louis, sorry, who can go into the top 6 there for the Williams team. And it'll be Kevin Cowell, the last season's Div 2 World Champion. He comes into the pit lane. So next up will be Mallard in the Mercedes in the Silver Arrow. He's used all his deployment as he comes out of the bus stop chicane, getting all that shape there up towards the line. Gives the V-Carb a slight toe. Over the line goes Mallard, and he can go slowest of the lot so far as Nisev has just started his first lap. Next up will then be Echo. No, it won't be Echo. It will be Echo. Echo goes up into the top 4 there for McLaren with a 1:42.298, 5 milliseconds behind reigning champion WHF Arrow. Next up will be SSR Halo then in the second Williams as he comes through the bus stop chicane looking to take provisional pole away from Cookie, nowhere near it, over the line, and it is just under a second off. Up into the top 5 with a 42.426. This will be Craig Conley in the other Papaya car. And the Chrome McLaren, out of the final chicane we go, and up towards the line, flooring it to the line. The McLaren can go P9. Next up will be the other Sauber of Stardom, and second in the World Championship. Can he take pole away from his rival? He can get within just under a 10th and a half. Goes into the front row with a 41.584 there. So we look to see who is up next. I think actually it might be just Nisev up next as we go towards Stabilo. He has invalidated his time, so I don't actually know who will be up next. I am completely clueless, to be honest. Nisev hasn't got the field to go again, so there could be drivers on a outlap. It might actually be Oven Chips who will be going up next. Might be. I don't actually know what he is particularly doing. But he comes into pit lane again. Does the Haas driver. Well, Michael Louis going then. Do you think I went a couple of wheels into the gravel there? So maybe did he try and push on? Michael Louis in at the Williams. Obviously, dipping a couple of wheels in the gravel on the exit of the lay comp chicane. Actually, just a bit of a stalemate here in qualifying. We're waiting for some more lap times to begin. And they start actually pushing on again in that kick Sauber. He actually could be here using his ERS as he comes towards the final chicane. I'm not actually too sure. I don't think he is. It'll be very close, but you know he's going to dive into pit lane. I don't actually think he was. So I think SSR Zampa will be up next, climbing Air Rouge and Radion. And I've put Air Rouge as turn 4. Okay, right. I'm going to forget that. So down the Kemmel straight, down towards the Lake Up chicane, and the end in the first sector. 30.650 here at the end of the first sector for the Silverstone base team in the Aston Martin. Only one Aston Martin here this season. You've got the 3 teams who have only got 1 driver is Aston Martin. I've got myself in the spot here. Aston Martin is one of them for sure. Alpine's another, and that's it. The two teams. Sorry, I completely forgot there was 18 drivers here. So through the campus chicane, and then we go towards turn 14 of named Stabilo, out of Stabilo now, and then down through Curvapole Frere, down flat through 15, 16, and 17. We go through the Curvapole Frere, and then down towards turn 17 of Blanchimont, flat out for a lot of the lap here in Belgium. I was actually trying to figure out how long of the lap you are flat out for percentage wise, but I couldn't find anything. But now at the final corner we go with SSR Zampa, and the Aston Martin will come over the line now. SSR Zampa, that time was bugged because it's still showing he was on for original pole. So we'll go over to Young Himmy Dime up next in the Scuderia Ferrari. Here's a little fact for you. The last 4 Belgian Grand Prix, two out of the last 4 have been won from pole, and that being, and then there's another fact. The last 2 Belgian Grand Prix have been won from pole. Supply Raptor in season 3 got pole and the win, and Nywin season 4 got pole and the win. Over the line we go with young Himmy Dimes, and he can go into the top 3 there for the Scuderia Ferrari team. Whereas I think this serves just started another lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. Mercedes might be up next, or might be the Haas. No, it won't be the Haas. It might be actually Ricciardo. As we get towards the end of the middle sector, half a second up is Ricciardo in the shout for pole position here in the Racing Bulls. Down towards the, well, down flat, first of all, flat through Blanchard, and now down towards the Lake of Chicane. Might get a little bit of traffic, a little bit of dirt, yeah, by the Haas of Gordon up ahead of him, but it shouldn't affect him too much. Mr. Haas comes over the line to start his lap. Ricciardo over the line to go onto the front row, marginally ahead. Next up the Red Bull of Kevin Cowell. He comes out of the final corner and towards the line. There's a Sauer behind starting lap. Kevin Cowell crosses the line and can only go into the top 13 there. Next up will be the Williams on a outlap. Then it will be Red Bull, the man on provisional pole and the championship leader, is mounting a better lap time. 4.5 tenths up is the Red Bull driver. Ricciardo got within just under a tenth. He might be able to absolutely blister that gap away. Over the line we go to championship leader. Half a second improvement to into the 1 minute 40. So 1 minute 40.921 here at Belgium already. Dino Iron Saber will be up next. He himself 4 tenths of a second up, but nowhere near the pace of the championship leader. He can only go into the top line. As once again we see an Aston Martin diving into pit lane once again. What about the man who was on pole 1 week ago today? He makes his way out of the final corner, and Nesev looking to take provisional pole, crosses the line and can only go P4, just under a second away. As Ferrari are working a toe, we go on board with the reigning champion. Can he muster up a lap to bring himself to the top? Only 2 wins in his WCF career, and he comes into pit lane. The toe seemed to work very, very well, but it obviously made a mistake. Might have made a mistake earlier in the lap. As now we watch Gordon. Actually, no, it will be Oven Chips. My apologies. Oven Chips actually does into pit lane, so it'll be Mallard instead. No, it will actually be Gordon coming through the final chicane. 4.5 tenths up. The Haas finds himself. Where can he put that Haas car? And he can go into the top 6 there. Next up is then the other Kick Sauber of Star. Currently almost 3 tenths of a second up through the final chicane we go with the Kick Sauber looking for pole position. Over the line we go with the Sauber. And oh, it's close. It's just over a 1/10.5 away. Next up will be SSR Halo. No, it'll be his teammate first. Michael Luis 12. SSR Halo over the line. Goes into the top 7 there. And then it will be maybe the McLaren of Echo. He is down on his lap time. Iron Saver isn't pushing the battery pack. And now we wait. It might actually... Who will it be up next? There is a Aston Martin currently of Andres on a outlap. Excuse me. So, was Michael Louise actually on a outlap, and is he pushing on? You might actually see him to be pushing on. So we'll go with the, I believe, the runner-up of Tier 2 last season, plummeting downhill towards Pouon. I don't actually know how long is left of the session. We go through Pouon corner. A little bit of a list there by the Williams, going a bit wide than you would ideally wanted. Some drivers can take it flat, some can't. Michael Louise wasn't one of those who could take it flat. He's going to encounter a bit of traffic here as he goes through the campus chicane. And then towards Stabilo corner at turn 14. And then he will go towards the curb of Paul Ferrer of turn 15 and turn 16. 6 tenths of a second up. This is going to be looking good for around maybe around where Gordon or SSR Halo is. He's 6 tenths of a second up. So I think it was like 0.62 of a tenth of a second up as he comes through Blanchard down towards the Lake of Chicane. 3 minutes 30 remaining on the clock. If this is him, if he's going to finish this lap, it will be his final run of qualifying. Out of the final corner we go with Michael Louise, and let's just feel that Williams. I don't expect to see him anymore, and he can go into the top 8, marginally behind his teammate there. And now we wait as Andreas has retired from the session. As Craig Conley. Surely not. Surely he hasn't started his lap with that little battery left. Craig Conley will currently with a 1:42.618. I'll be bamboozled if he is actually on a lap time. Which he isn't, thankfully, considering that those battery levels were quite something there. So, our final runs for qualifying, and then once again, SSR Zampa, we see another lockup into turn number 1 here at Belgium. Now we go down through Air Rouge up to the top of Radion. You've seen many blistering overtakes around here within the path. We go down the Camel Straight as the V-Carb, not doing the most clean job of getting out of the way, and as we go under braking through the Lake Up chicane, he's already 0.2 of a second down as we hit the brake through the Lake Up chicane, and then we go downhill towards turn number 8 of Bruxelles, and then next up will be turn number 9 of No Name Corner. Hello, Andreas, who's just joined us in the chat. As Zampa gets a little bit out of shape there on the exit of No Name. Then we go towards Pouon Corner. Can he take it flat out? Just about. As then he goes on the exit of Pouon. That Red Bull in front of him will have to get out of the way as we sling it through the campus chicane and then down towards turn 14 to Stavilo. That Red Bull there is. I'm gonna have a quick look who that is. Is that Cookie? Potentially is Cookie. Championship leader is actually maybe going to be giving Zampa a bit of a toe as we go down the back straight down towards the Blanchimont sequence as he then now gets out of the way. Does the Red Bull and Championship leader and Constructors Championship leaders. So Zampa out of the final corner. Michael Louis in pit lane. The only driver not on track who hasn't retired from the session. Over the line we go with Zampa, and he can only go P14 there for the what team is he? Aston Martin team. So will it be Echo up next, or will it be Oven Chips as he makes his way towards the final chicane? We go through the bus stop chicane with the Haas driver a little bit out of shape on the exit of the final corner. It's going to be absolutely nowhere near pole, and he can only go P14, replacing Zampa where he originally was. Next up will be Echo, who has invalidated his time and with 30 seconds to go, might just be able to make it back to start another lap. Next up for the drivers pushing on, is there a Mercedes pushing on? No, that is Mallard. So I do believe it's actually going to be the defending champion, the championship leader, who is on the original pole, is already up on this time. Sorry, excuse me. So through Pouon Corner we go, and then we go down toward the campus chicane at 12 and 13. The defending, oh my god, I can't get it right. The championship leader makes his way on the exit of turn 13, and then towards turn 14 through Stavilo, and he's a 10th and a half up. Is the championship leader making his way down towards the bus stop chicane. He's got 3 poles to his name already this season, looking to make it a 4th. Can Star maybe make it a 3rd pole? Can Nisev make it a 2nd pole of his career? Cookie will now come out of the final corner, out of the final bus stop chicane. The championship leader to the line to extend his margin ahead of the rest. Next up's going to be Ricardo. He's only 400 up. Cookie's got a 40.6. Ricardo can't even go into the front row, as now Nisev, the man on pole 1 week ago, over the line. And it's only P3 there. So, who do we look up to next? Will it be Star making his way down towards Blanchimont? As there's 2 Hasses in front of him, working a little bit of a toe. But the man who has been on pole twice before, hasn't won this season so far, looking to take it away from his championship rival. The man hunting championships glory over the line now to go into the front row with a 40.940 there. Mallard will now make his way out of the final chicane, and he's got a Ferrari all tucked up behind him. Up towards the line we go with Mallard. He goes only 17th. Arrow can go 10th. What about his teammate? Only P5. Next up, I think finally up will be Echo. He's 4 tenths down as he comes over the line. Then it'll be SSR Halo, and I don't actually know where he went. But Cookie on pole position by best part of at least 0.2 of a second. Around the 7 kilometers, he has absolutely nailed the lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's a 140.646 for Cookie. Then in P2 is Stahl, pretty much 0.3 of a second behind with a 40.9. Then the 7 third, it's an all V-Carb, 4th row. Red Bull, who lead the constructors, one's on pole, one's all the way down in P13. 2 drivers into lap time. The back 2 rows. Well, no, the drivers who filled up the back 4 places are Aston Martin and Mercedes drivers. Cookie will lead us away from the grid in a couple minutes of time. Who's going to take the win in Spa-Francorchamps? Roll on the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm going to quickly get a drink while we have this wait for people to ready up. I returned. How are we all? Jack Milligan, welcome in to the Twitch chat. Should be readying up soon, as I do believe it is normally only a 2-minute wait. Where is my charger? Get my phone back on charge. I am good, thank you. How's yourself? So, here's a couple of reminders for you. This season, Cookie leads the championship with 174 points. Start in P2 with 133 points. Then the Sev in P3, 92 points. Joseph Arrow in P4, 78 points. JG P5 with 64. And then Kevin Cow in P6 with 63. Pirates Kings in P7 with 60. Dimes in P8 with 52. Kenzie in P9 with 42. As well as Michael Louise, who sat in 10th with 42 points. Top 3 in the constructors. Ferrari a P3 with 130 points. Sauber a P2 with 140 points. And then Red Bull are leading the way by quite the dominant margin with 237 points. This season, pole position wise, Cookie has had 3, but now he's got 4. Star's got 2, Nisev's got 1, and Niall's got 1. This season, wins. Nisev's got 2, and Cookie has got 5, looking for a 6th this season. And is it looking quite good to do so? Pole position has won. Pole position has won last two Belgian Grand Prix in WHF. Cookie's got 29 wins overall in WHF, looking for win number 30 today in WHF, of course. You've got a couple world champions on the grid. These consist of Cookie, Ollie, Arrow, and Star. I'm not actually sure if Pirates Kings is racing today. We're in Season 5 of WHF with 4 world champions. Cookie won the championship in Season 1 and Season 2. Ollie won the championship in Season 3. WHF Arrow got his maiden title in Season 4. That's Spa-Francorchamps' biggest elevation change of the season. You got 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. You've got a championship leader dominating the season, looking for win number 6 of the season and for the win number 30 of the WHF career. Average speed of 230 kilometers an hour around the lap of this 7-kilometer circuit. 4.34 miles around Spa-Francorchamps. The lap record held by Sergio Perez last year, a 1:44.70 run. You got a race length of 154.026 kilometers. Now we await the 5 red lights. As the 5 red lights go on. The green flag about. The 5 lights go on. Here at Spa-Francorchamps. To the source we go. The lights out and we are racing at Spa-Francorchamps, and down towards turn number 1 we go. And it seems to be a good start. We're free abreast into turn number 1. Nisev trying on the inside as Nisev gets all out of shape. Cookie just a wheel into the gravel. Into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix goes Star in the kick Sauber there. As down towards a Rouge and Radion we go. Climbing the hill, and the reigning and the defending champ. Oh my god, I've done it again. And the championship leader looking to retake the lead down towards the Lake Up Chicane. Star got the lead, but then it's going to be roles reverse as the pole man retakes the lead into the Lake Up Chicane. As then there is Nisev trying on the inside through the Lake Up Chicane, and Himi Dime has had a bit of contact there with Nisev there as his teammate gets up into the top 3. As there is now Nisev trying to challenge Gordon on the inside at yeah, I've lost my words again. At turn number 8, through No Name Corner we go, and then downhill towards Pouhon Corner. Cookie leads the Belgian Grand Prix. There is damage in the back there, maybe for one of the Hasses, as now we go. And it is the V Cup. It's the V Cup of the 7th man. The man third in the World Championship. Front right end plate damage. As then we go towards the chicane at 12 and 13. And Womabex looking to dive on the inside. The kick Sauber getting racy. As then we go towards Stavolo through turn 14. And then towards the curve of Paul Frere of 15 and 16, as there is Echo and other chips dropping around there. On board was the Haas making our way, as then he has the outside line, as there's front wing damage on that McLaren as well. Down towards Blanchimont we go, but it is the championship leader who leads the way. 7.5 tenths of a second gap, as there is Craig Connolly getting involved with Story, as there is Nisev into the pit lane there. The man third in the World Championship has to replace that front wing, but the gap out front is almost a second already. It is 1 second as we stand on the power and go down towards Air Rouge and Radion at the detection point. The gap is already over a second out front. Himi Dimes looking for the podium. The man who is trying to bulk Ferrari up for the championship. And they can overtake Sauber this race if they have a good result. Pulls out to the outside and overtakes Ricardo down the Kemmel Straight and down towards the Lake Op Chicane. We go. Himi Dime is now officially into the podium places. There is Arrow getting all keen on the outside of Dino Iron Saber. Rejoins the track very unsafely. Almost contact between the pair as into the gravel goes the Alpine, and that's going to allow Echo. And then on the inside, the Haas of Avenchips will go and gets ahead of the Alpine, and the Alpine's gone from 7th all the way down to P10 there. Out in front The top two already escaping away. Cookie leads by 1.3 seconds towards the campus chicane. Apologies for that race start. I completely lost my words. There is your positions gained here at Spa so far. 2 gained for the Ferrari, 2 gained for Gordon, 3 gained for Arrow, 4 gained for Echo, 6 gained for Oven Chips, 15 lost for the Sev, 5 lost for Craig, 4 lost for Michael Louis, as there is then Dino Iron Saber and Oven Chips swapping around once more, and the Haas is back behind the Alpines. There is a rear lock there by the Alpines, and we go through the bus stop chicane, but look who's now back within DRS. As I say that, he goes a bit deep there on the hard compound tyres. Speaking of tyres, let's have a look at the tyres. So then we'll have a look at tyres, and it's predominantly dominated by the hard compounder tyres there. Only 4 drivers are on the mediums, as then we go down towards turn 1. Ricardo is looking to challenge once more for that podium place. He's gaining in the slipstream. Hemi Dime will look to defend this and running outside. Ricardo will try for the podium place. The Ferrari will keep his nose on the inside. Ricardo gives the space, but then almost has to go off the track, and the Ferrari is going to keep his nose on the inside, and they touch, and the Ferrari's drifting round, and into the rear goes the Haas of Gordon, and through goes the Sauber into the top 4 there, as there was contact between Hemi Dime and the Hiccup, as there is WZF Amro now drifting away through turn number 8 of Brazil, and then towards No Name. Is there damage on that Ferrari? Doesn't seem to be any visual damage, but there was definitely contact between the V-Cup and Ferrari, and then the second Ferrari got affected by whatever was going down at turn 8 at Brazil, as SSR Halo is our first driver to pick up a penalty for track close, but the fight for the lead is well and truly on here at Spa. So Hemi Dime back on the rear of Gordon now. Gordon, who got massively damaged by that incident. He has got no front right end plate damage. Basically just sit and duck there. And then we go down towards the bus stop chicane, and the Ferrari's gaining. But is he close enough? As Dino Iron Saber is definitely close enough, and Oven Chips is looking around the outside at the bus stop chicane. It will then switch to the inside on those medium tyres. And now with SSR Halo will look to get involved. Maybe a bit of contact there as Gordon comes in to change his front wing down towards the source, down towards turn on the SSR Halo. Source up a move, doesn't seem to be, but then on the inside the Alpine looking to make a move, but then as we get on the power on the external source, and then we'll go flat through towards Air Rouge and Rally on. The Alpine is not able to make a move, probably actually using that lunge as a bit of defense. Go back to your race leaders then. Stars gaining towards Lake Up Chicane, 3.5 tenths is the gap on the braking, as there is Arrow then pulling ahead of the McLaren of Echo with absolutely no end plates there. The reigning champion has got by the massively wounded McLaren, as there is then the Alpine losing 2, almost 3 places, as then Mercedes and Mallard might try to get involved on the rear of Zampa. Under towards Brussels we go, and then towards No Name Corner. There is a train starting to form here, as Echo, those end plates which he has lost, is definitely starting to affect that McLaren through Poo on corner, and look how much the turning is affected without those end plates to give the aerodynamic efficiency. As then on board with the Sahela, we can see Oven Chips down the inside at the campus chicane, and Oven Chips gets ahead of Echo, and as Sahela, we're thinking, I want a piece of this, as then turn towards Stavilo, thinks of a move on the inside, but thinks better of it, and doesn't really want to ruin the McLaren's race any more than it already has been. Now through the curve of Paul Frere down towards Blanchimont. The McLaren trying to defend this, as they're running outside of Blanchimont. It will then switch to the inside for the bus stop chicane if he can keep it there, but he's not close enough to be able to make it stick then. Under braking through the bus stop chicane. Look how much slower the McLaren goes, as he finally dives into pit lane. That's our third driver into the pit lane to change tyres, as then back to the race leaders we go. Flat through Air Rouge, flat through Rally On, Down to Kemmel straight we go, and Star is going to be gaining essentially, but he's on non-ERS mode. He's just not thinking. I think he's just playing the Snar game. He knows that Cookie's faster. Just use the ERS, just use the DRS to be able to get there. As the two Ferraris are probably going to swap around here, as his teammate's not using the ERS, and it's an old switchback of the Ferraris swapping around, and into the top 5 goes the reigning and defending champion. Michael Louise now pulls ahead of Dino Iron 7. There's 2 Williams now within the top 10 here at Spa. Dino Iron 7 will maybe try and challenge down towards Brazil, but it isn't close enough to make any sort of challenge here. William X has just silently really carried his own way up. If we go back to positions gained, gained 2 places there. Obviously had a good qualifying, put his way in to the top 6 there in qualifying, and his teammate is currently in the top 2. So Sauer looking for a decent haul of points here, a very decent haul of points, looking for 37 points as it stands if it were to obviously finish like this. But Star can sense the win, he can sense victory, because Cookie just saw there using a bit of his battery trying to break the DRS. No, didn't, as then Cookie locks that front tyre, and that could help Star gain a bit more time to go on the exit of the bus stop chicane. And then we go down towards turn number 1. La Source Cookie is trying to pull away as Star is trying to source off moves, but it seems to be quite a poor exit by Star. And as we go to the detection point, Star once again has the same issue as lap number 2. He's fallen out of that DRS window, as the 2 Ferraris might have to swap around once again. Down through Air Rouge and Radium we go towards the Lake Comp chicane the Ferraris are using, and down towards the Lake Comp chicane, and the Ferrari swap around once more, trying to make inroads on that gap. Seems to be our sole source of entertainment at the minute, these 2 Ferraris just swapping around ever since that train split up a little bit, as Owen Chips is starting to fall away a bit from Kevin Cow, who's made up 6 places. As then through No Name Corner we go, and Michael Louise and SSR Halo are looking at the heels of other chips. Actually, there's no visual damage on that pass. As then we go toward the campus chicane with this 5-car train, because Mallard is now at the back of it as well. It's just these 2 Ferraris sailing in their own wonderland, really. Seems to be one gets ahead, one drains their battery, then the other will get ahead and drain their battery. But this is the fight which is probably going to be closest for a little while longer. Cookie extends his lead to 1.6 seconds. New fastest lap of this race. He is 1.005 seconds away from the lap record, as there is SSR Halo putting the Haas under a bit of pressure on the Haas on those medium compounder tyres. And there is the other Mercedes, Lori, in the background, looking to starting to close up a bit. SSR Halo through turn number 1, looking to source up a move, as then we go towards Air Rouge and Radion. Oven Chips with not a lot of battery there, so he's turning that battery off. And down towards Air Rouge and Radion. Look how close he's still getting. 3 cars separated by millimeters here, probably a track limit warning, as the 2 Williams will look to go either side of the Haas, as down towards the Lake Country game we go. There's Williams passing either side of him. The 2 Williams are side by side, and then there goes the Alpine. Right outside goes Michael Louise, and then Sahila will try and keep his head, but then the Alpine will try and make his move, as Sahila ran a bit deep. The Oven Chips will try and defend this, as down towards Brazil's corner will be Sheila on the inside. Going on the inside goes the Alpine, contact, and they both go wide, and that allows Mallard on the inside to try and get the place. He's got 1. Can he get 2 in to None? No, he can't. And Oven Chips will feel a bit hard done by that one, as now we go down towards Poo on corner. Oven Chips using his battery, but can't make a move to try and pound, but the both Williams are through. And there is Oven Chips trying down the inside on Poo on, as down towards the campus chicane. Oven Chips has got 1 place back, and then he will look to try and now make a move on Dino Iron Saber, after Dino Iron Saber basically forced him out wide to a place he didn't want to be. So that thing I've seen the Ferraris is, I think Young Hemi Dime just has a bit more pace, considering the gap that is being built up by the Ferrari men. One leading the charge here. So we go back to this fight for PA in this time. 2 Williams lead the way, and it's a bit more spread out on this occasion here. I didn't actually write down the strategy, so I don't know what the key lap is. I think it actually is this lap if you're on the medium compounded tyres. So pit window open, let's just say that. Let's just say the pit window is open here at Spa for a pit stop to go onto the hard compound tyres. Andreas is going a lap earlier here. Is he trying to 2-stop, or is he going on to the hards for the simple 1-stop? It seems to be the simple 1-stop here. So Star has fell away absolutely massively, but there is rain. Rain is falling at Spa, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it is very often you see rain at Spa-Francorchamps, so maybe that is why the grid was predominantly on the hard compounded tyres. It's just started falling here very, very light at this current moment in time, but it's Spa. It always throws a downpour of rain, no matter what time of year it is. You could be in a heat wave, and the one time F1 is on, there would be downpour torrential rain. The 2 Williams starting to pull away there from Dino Iron Saber. F1 Mallard has actually now got back ahead of Oven Chips, and the rain is still, you just saw it there for a moment, pouring. If we look on board with the Mercedes, the sun is shining as Echo picks up a 3-second time penalty for tracking. Look on the halo of that Mercedes there. The rain getting a little bit heavier now as we go towards Blanchimont, as they all continue on this lap. He's maybe a little bit difficult there to get on the power. As you just saw the throttle difference there between Hemi Dime as into the pits comes Kevin Cow. Gamble taken by the second Red Bull driver. So surely it is a pit stop for the intermediate tyres. The top 2 from the Tier 2 Championship last season take the gamble for the Inters early. Does anyone else follow them, or do they all continue on it? I think it is only these 2 who have come in for a pit stop. Michael Louis onto the intermediate tyres as well. We've got Inters already and only on lap number 9 of 22 here at Spa, as their Oven Chips lost out massively there. He's now 8 seconds behind Mallard, as he picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And will he look to try and overtake the Aston Martin? The Aston Martin using his battery, and he knows the Haas is nowhere near close enough to make a move. I don't actually know what happened to the Haas. There's no damage on that car as they both go off there, and these conditions getting very, very tricky now, it seems, for those guys. Though we go to the race leaders here, coming through Stavelo and then through Curvapole Frere, and then we'll go down towards Blanchimont, the championship leader. Will he dive into pit lane at the end of this lap, or will he go on for an extra one to make sure he doesn't absolutely wear out those inters? Look at the gap between Kevin Cow and Echo there. It's going down massively, as then they go as the Aston Martin of Andreas are through there. But yeah, I know it's nowhere near time for Inters yet. A gamble taken by the Div 2 champion. But yeah, he's just losing time, and officially lost a second within the last couple of corners, as there is a slow moving Zampa through Curvapole Frere. Is there maybe a puncture on that Aston Martin? Doesn't seem to be any punctures going on. I'll be very surprised if I see anyone into pit lane. There is no one in pit lane at this current moment in time. Lap number 10 of 22 as we go under braking through the source on board now with Dino Iron Saber looking for a move on the Cesar Halo. His teammates at the gamble. Oven Chips and Zampa are next up to take the gamble. As you can see the range from the track now, that's normally the indication where it is a lot wetter. As Dino Iron Saber, what a run out of Air Rouge and Radion, and down the Kemmel Straight we go. And the Cesar Halo has to concede the place, powerless to defend that absolute slingshot exit that the Alpine had got, and draws by the Williams up into the top 7 here, as Arrow is now falling out of a second from his teammate. That's Andreas there. So lap old hard compound tyres. He pitted at the wrong time there off of his medium compounded tyres. So, do they start the game now? Those intermediates going to be getting a bit hot on that Red Bull. The Seb, who had damage on lap 1, is looking to have a bit of a resurgent drive here at the race today. Does Cookie dive into pit lane? Yes, he does. Cookie, a gap of 5 seconds, now comes into the pit. Star is next up into the pit lane. Ricardo as well. Womamex will be next up. But top 3 are all into the box, and they're all choosing the intermediate compounded tyres there, as the Red Bull can get out very nicely before the Storm has even arrived here. Do the Ferraris choose to double stack? Yes, they do. That is going to very much hamper Arrow by a couple of tenths of a second. But when you seem to get stacked, you seem to get a very, very rapid pit stop here. So we'll watch the Ferrari crew get to work, and how quickly do they change their tyres? Very rapidly there. Look at that by the Ferrari crew. Very realistic if you're on about this season. As has anyone actually stayed out? Everyone now on the intermediate compounded tyres, and still Cookie leads by an absolute mile here. 5 seconds as we enter the Lake Comp chicane with our pole sitter, championship leader and race leader. Lost the lead on the exit of turn 1 after dipping a wheel in the gravel, but then Marie took it on that same lap at the Kemmel straight into the Lake Comp chicane, and now the track's a bit wetter. It's going to be a bit harder to overtake if it wasn't hard enough already. But Andreas is just trying to stick with his gut on the hard compounded tyres, and his Aston Martin trying just really not to crash that car like Stroll did in practice last year on the exit of Radion, crashing and doing at least a 720 there over the grass on the exit of Radion. DRS now disabled by the steward as Andreas lets through the hash there of Gordon, as there is some yellow flags. How is that for SSR Halo, who's at a moment off in the gravel? SSR Halo has had a moment on the exit of No Name, and there is big front wing damage there on that Williams. There is missing part of the fencing as well as the end plate. Major wing damage, and he's going to have to come in to change that. Is the Williams driver of SSR Halo. He's letting every single driver through there. Don't know why, but he's decided just to wave everyone by. 3 seconds for Zampa once again. Might actually be on 9 seconds now. Let's have a look, shall we? 9 seconds for SSR Zampa. Womamex gets on to a 3 second time penalty. Man running a bit of a quiet race, really. Now under pressure from young Himi Dime. Zero. That double stack really cost him, or is it just maybe a lack of pace in these types of conditions? But this seems to be our closest scrap on the track, or our highest scrap on the track, as Cookie's got a lead and now 6.6 seconds, absolutely controlling this race. On the exit of Air Rouge and running on down the Kemmel straight we go, and he's gaining in the slipstream of the Sauber, looking for a top 4 as if things stand as they were, as there is SSR Halo off at the Lake Comp chicane. Once again, there was no position changes. SSR Halo now does dive into the pit lane as there is Nisev trying to make a move, and we're towards the Lake Comp chicane we go. Red Bull Machine v Red Bull Machine. The sister team comes out on top this time. Nisev pulls ahead of the Red Bull driver and V-Carb, making a bit of a late storm here in the Constructors' Championship. I've been having some very decent results recently, as Nisev does get ahead, and now we go back to this battle for the top 5 positions there, as Nisev's now on a bit of a charge on a resurgent drive after contact on the opening lap, I believe, with maybe the Ferrari of Dime or Arrow. Under braking through Stavolo, and then we'll go towards the curve ball for air on the exit. Look at that, already 8 seconds down on a dry lap time. No lap records will be being broken here this evening, but this man is in a universe of his own. What can stop him? The only answer seems to be Nisev this season, if you're on about just race wins. The predominant force this season. 29 wins in WHF history, looking for win number 30. Looked like he is going to get a win, number 30, controlling the race from the front ever since he retook the lead on the straight. We are now at... There's a change of position, and we missed it. Echo ahead of Oven Chips there, down towards Blanchemont, and Oven Chips had a bit of a torrential time really after the Alpine Dyno Iron Saver cost him 2 places there. And on the exit, Gordon looking for a move on the Mercedes and down towards La Source, and Gordon has sourced up a move and is now ahead of the Mercedes. The Mercedes taking a very tighter line and keeping that move. Andreas finally into pit lane, I believe, off the hard combat tyres. He finally pits as there is Kevin Cow losing another place, this time to F1 Mallard there, under braking at the Lake Hump chicane. Mallard is up into the top 9, and next up will be Michael Louise. The top 2 in last season's Tier 2 Championship will come at the wheel to wheel once more. Brand new game, well, not really a brand new game, but a new game. And Kevin Cow seems to be struggling compared to his right counterpart from last season. You see the track getting very much of a way. You see the raindrops splattering on the track there, as this is going to be our sole battle. It seems to be a 3-car fight for the top 9, but Mallard seems to be just pulling away from Kevin Cow, considering Kevin Cow did that extra lap or 2 on a more dry track, which means those tyres will get shredded more. Lap 14 and 22 is underway, and the race leader extended his gap to 7.5 seconds. Himmy Dime is back within a second, as Nisev is also within a second of Dyno Iron Saber, the man on pole 1 week ago. Different territory this time around, not on pole here, and definitely nowhere near the fight for the lead here as we go on the exit of the bus stop chicane and down towards turn number 1. Michael Louis is looking for a move ahead of his Tier 2 title rival, under braking through La Source, who now stand on the power seat, no DRS, so you've got to manoeuvre a overtake out of absolutely nothing. As now we go down through Air Rouge and Radion on board with the Williams, the track getting even wetter, as then we slingshot on the exit of Radion down the Kettle Straight. The Rebel tried to defend this, but it's powerless too, and the Williams rolls on by. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. The Williams rolls on by into the top 10. Michael Louise into the top 10 positions as Nisev's closing in on the rear of Dyno Iron Saver, as there is Echo and Tori swapping around the Mercedes powered cars, losing positions here. You've got a normal McLaren and you have a chrome McLaren, so nice to see some wide variety in choices here, not only in the strategies and tyre compounds, wide varieties in the liveries as well. So we go through Brussels with Echo now in the top 13, looking to hunt down Gordon, who got caught up in that accident between I think it was the Ferrari of Dime. Oh, it was between the incident of Dime and Ricardo. He got caught up in that and had massive wing damage, and obviously came in to change it. Running in the top 12 is the Haas driver, obviously in his career, Jay Gordon. 7 wins in his WHF career, absolutely nowhere near the win today, as Nisev is starting to get closer to Dyno Iron Saber, but they're both starting to reel in the reigning champion. WHF Arrow seeming to struggle here in these conditions here as we go through turn number 1. Down towards Everidge and Raymond. We're going to look towards these two as Himmy Dime. He's gaining in the slipstream, and towards the Lake Hump chicane we go. Will Max will try to defend this. We go under braking into the Lake Hump chicane. The Ferrari roars on through into the top 4, and now Nisev will try and make a move as there's Cookie to the other moment. Cookie has got front wing damage on the excellent no name. The race leader, the man who started on pole, has made a mistake, and he has got front right end plate damage. Luckily, he's not ripped off any of the fencing, but that is front wing damage nonetheless for the championship leader and the race leader since the Les Combes chicane on lap number 1. He's led from start to finish on lap number 15, and there is a twist in the tail as Cookie gets some front wing damage on the exit of No Name Corner. But while we wait for something to brew there, let's go back to this free car scrap for 6th, 7th and 8th, as then through the campus chicane, and then next up Stavelot will await these drivers, as then down to turn 14 as Arrow starting to put out a little bit more of a distance there, maybe to have a lap of unease. But then we go down through the curveball Frere and then down towards Blanchemont, the corner, which is still, I believe, actually flat out in the rain, depending on conditions. Flat through Stavelot, not Stavelot, flat through Blanchemont, which we are, as Cookie, I think, is actually still eking out a bit of a gap. 3 seconds is the gap now. When we go through Air Rouge and Renion, so 3 seconds is that gap now. Ricardo might, I think, made a mistake. He's lost 6/10 last time I checked that gap, and that was only a couple of 10 seconds ago. So down the Camel Straight we go with your race leader. Actually, in the Les Combes chicane we are with the race leader. Through the Les Combes chicane we go now, and there's already a 10th gained, 2 tenths gained, 3 tenths gained. Star will be looking to gain. He's already gained 3 tenths of the Les Combes chicane. Has he got enough time to reel in the World Driver Championship leader, as Mallard has a 3-second time penalty? As Dynamite Saver, this battle starting to heat up as well. 3 cars within, under a second, within 8 tenths of a second of each other. As then we go on to break in wide. Goes the Alpine, or is that just the line he tries to take to try and swing back to get a better run? No, it doesn't really seem to work as Echo and Gordon swap around, and Echo is through on Gordon, but Gordon will try the up and under, and then on the outside it will switch to the inside, and that is a lovely opportunistic switchback by Gordon. But then Echo will try towards Bruxelles. Down the inside goes Echo in the McLaren, is not able to defend it, but then Gordon goes a bit deep. On board now is the McLaren down towards No Name Corner. Gordon is able to keep the place after a lovely operated switchback by the Haas driver, trying everything to keep this P12 and make sure he doesn't drop down into the unlucky number 13 place. Through Curveball Frere and then down towards Blanchemont and the bus stop chicane. Nisev using his battery, lap 17 of 22, that gap only 2.8 seconds, 2.9 seconds as they break for the for the Source, and Nisev's gaining, and he's going to look for a lunge down the inside of the bus stop chicane. Locks up both fronts, but can't get a nose in there. But then the Alpine goes a bit deep, and we'll try the switchback on the exit of the bus stop chicane. As now we stand on the power down towards the Source. Nisev's gaining, not on the battery though. Will he dive to the inside? And the inside goes the V-Cub on the inside of the Alpine. Contact between the side pod and the front tyre. And now we get on the tyre, more contact between the pairs. And Arrow gets all out of shape, and Nisev is finally back through. But Dynamite Saber's got a little bit more battery, and he's right sucked up in the slipstream of the V-Cub on the exit of Air Rouge and Radion, and down the Camel Straight we go. Dynamite Saber's gaining, and he's putting the battery back on. Down towards the outside, down towards the Les Combes chicane we go. Dynamite Saber's got the outside line, and right outside goes the Alpine. It will then switch to the outside for the V-Cub, and then the inside for the V-Cub. If he can keep his nose in there, keeps the nose in there. Contact once again in that corner between 2 drivers. Then down towards Bruxelles. The Alpine will try around the outside to keep the place, and the V-Cub will try on the inside. Gets a little bit of a drift there, and then off the track goes Dynamite Saber, and Nisev can finally get the move up into the top 7 and can now try to hunt down the Ferrari. There's a bit of karma there. What goes around comes around for Dynamite Iron Saber. Pushed oven chips wide at Bruxelles, then gets pushed wide on the exit of Bruxelles, and it is now P7 for Nisev there. Who says you can't race in the rain in Spa-Francorchamps? So, as I was thinking, that gap is down to 2.1 seconds. 1.9 as we stand on the power, and then towards the 1.0 back up to 2.0. But the gap is coming down for the lead with 5 to go. So Arrow is actually starting to gain on Wormex and the reigning Constructor Champions looking for a decent result. It's been a bit of a lean season so far. They haven't won this season whatsoever, but they are challenging Sauber for second in the Constructors' Championship. Only two teams have actually won this season, Red Bull and V-Carb. Obviously, Nisev's got 2 and Cookie's got 5. Currently on course for a 6th. As Echo and Gordon once again are side by side, literally level pegging as we start the next lap. And Echo is ahead of Gordon and finally through on that Haas, as Nisev has got absolutely no battery left as Arrow is starting to gain. Do you think Cookie will win now? I don't know yet. The gap's now back, and the gap is back down to 1.8 seconds. Star, the championship hunter, is looking to make it a first win of the season. He's obviously got 2 poles this season, but has never finished the race P1. The man who dominated qualifying today and has dominated the race so far. The gap is now down to 1.6 seconds as there is Sori and Kevin Cow swapping around, and the Tier 2 champ is ahead of the Silver Arrow and up into the top 14. As here's a free car scrap as Zampa picks up another time penalty. Free car scrap for the top 5 position. Could include the Iron Saver if he picks up the pace a little bit. But the gap out front now 1.5 seconds here. The gap is closing. Echo 3-second time penalty for track limiter Puon. As now we go down towards Blanchimont, out of Curva Paul Frere, down towards Blanchimont, lap 19 at 22. The leaders are on. These are on currently lap 18. But then Arrow's gaining a little bit unstable. Down towards the bottom of the cable. We see a dive to the inside or outside. Wilmax knows he has to defend this. Nisev will look for a move and almost contact there. And he does make contact, almost locking tyres as the Ferrari there somehow got his nose there. But then we get on the power on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Down towards turn number 1. The V-Carb is not close enough to make a move as we go under braking with your race leaders, and the gap is 1.6, but we know Cookie has a better straight line speed, but that gap is going to go down 1.6, 1.5. The race is not over yet, but Nisev has not got a lot of battery compared to Ferrari. The Ferrari going a bit wide, all out of shape. Nisev is gaining in the slipstream. He's gaining in the slipstream, but hasn't got the battery to do so. And Arrow can just continue to pull away from the V-Carb under braking to the Lecombe chicane. And Arrow is still in the top 6 here. 4 to go at Spa, and we don't know who's going to finish in certain positions. As Dino Iron Sabres reigniting the challenge as they're on the exit. But the Lecombe chicane, Nisev will try to dive down the inside, and the V-Carb's going to try it on the inside of Dominic Ferrari, the defending champion, trying to defend P6 as running outside of Bruxelles. It was switched to the inside for No Name. On the inside goes Arrow, but has to lose the place in the 70. Went bold on the inside of Bruxelles, which then went to the outside for No Name, and Nisev is into the top 6 there and is now staring at a top 5 finish as the gap between the top 2 is back up to 1.7 as the conditions are getting even worse here at Spa. So Nisev will make his way through Stavolo, and he is starting to gain. And I'll tell you, he was also starting to gain. Dino Iron Saver on Arrows. Arrows just seeming to struggle and struggle now. Had a bit of a rhythm, got within 6/10 of Woman X, and then got overtaken by Nisev. Is now within 1.4 behind the Sauber, as now Nisev has to start saving a bit of battery if he wants to be able to make the move and pull away. Under braking, that gap between the top 2 is now 1.4. When I look at it, it goes up. When I don't look at it, it goes down. So we're just not going to focus on the lead for a current moment in time. And look at the straight line speed Cookie has got. Gap up to 1.8 there, as they're on the inside. Arrow trying to defend this, and there's going to be the old switchback, the old switcheroo tried on the exit of the source, and then down towards turn number 2. He's not going to try that. Air Rouge and Radion, is he? Towards Air Rouge and Radion side by side in the rain. Running outside we go, and Arrow, there's contact between the pair of them, and Arrow drifting away as there goes now Nisev trying to make the move on Woman X as down towards the Lecombe chicane we go. The V-Carb will try and hang it on the outside. There's contact between the pair of them, and Woman X has got that play, but there was definitely contact through Rouge and Radion on those two. But now Nisev, will there be a rinse and repeat of the last lap? On the inside it will go, on the inside at Bruxelles. The V-Carb, the Red Bull, not the Red Bull, the Sauber will try to hold the place, but can't keep the place as Woman X finally his defence for a top 5 comes to an end and is down into P6, and Nesev will try to charge on for a top 4, but he's got that track limit penalty, and that is going to hamper his progress, and it could actually give Dino Iron Saver a top 5 finish, but could maybe get a penalty after the race for that collision through the Air Rouge Iranian complex. As there is Kevin Cowan, oven chip swapping around, and it is another move on the inside of Bruxelles as Ricardo picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits there, but not to worry. Not to worry, Young Himi Dam is 15 seconds behind Ricardo. Penultimate lap of this race has started, and Arrow still in hot pursuit of the Alpine, but that hot pursuit is starting to be put out a bit by the rain. The fire is starting to die out on that Ferrari, but the French team is starting to light a spark as they try to hunt for P6 on the road, but the race leaders are getting close. The gap is 1.1 under towards the Lacombe chicane for the penultimate time. Cookie, all it takes is one big mistake from Cookie, and it is game on onto the last lap. It's been game on since he got the damage, really. As then we go now on board with Dino Iron Saber. Keep an eye on that top left of the gap between the race leaders. The gap is now under a second, 9/10 of a second it was momentarily, but then it goes back up to 1.2. Was there a mistake there? Now then, we're going to focus on Dino Iron Saver. Is he just trying to save that battery to make a move? But now he turns on overtake, and Wilmax knows he can defend it. As then to the outside, Dino Iron Saver will look, but he can't make the move as Wilmax keeps that Alpine at bay. And Nesev, I think, has already pulled away of any threat of losing a position, especially if Wilmax is defending like this. Nesev will be able to easily pull away. 1.4 now is the gap between the top two. It seems to be Cookie has now got it under control. But then I say that, loses 3/10 on the exit of the curb of Paul Frere. Down towards Pouon we go, on board with the Alpine. Now off board with the Alpine through Pouon corner, and then the Alpine is trying to roll against all out of shape, having many snaps through Pouon as the last lap is about to begin here at Spa, and giving 1.1 seconds as they hit the brakes for the bus stop chicane. But we're focused on this battle for P6, as this is the closest battle on track. But he's now within a second. If there was DRS, then Star would be thinking of using that DRS to make an overtake. 7.5 tenths is the gap as we stand on the power down towards Air Rouge and Radion. Cookie had it under control, had a 7-second lead, almost 8-second lead, but then made the mistake at No Name, as there is Dino Iron Saver through on the Sauber there of WMX. But then back to the race leads we go. 6/10, half a second is the gap as we go through the Lacombe chicane. But don't forget, Dirty Air will affect the kick Sauber. 22 laps of racing all come down to this. 150 kilometers of racing have come down to this. We have got one lap of racing for this race. Is it going to be Cookie with win number 6 of the season and win number 30, or will it be Star with win number 1 of this season in season 5 for the Kick Sauber team? It seems to be, unless there is a massive difference in battery, Cookie will have this under control, but the slipstream might be all much more powerful than just a little bit extra battery. They are both on reduced harvesting, so no more battery gain under braking. It's just going to be when they apply the throttle. On the exit of Stavolo for the final time, and down the long back straight we go with the top two. Cookie started this race from pole position, seems to now have it under control, as then through Blanchimont for the final time. 8/10 of a second is the gap as they go towards the bus stop chicane for the final time. Star's giving it a proper charge, but the man who's been a 4-time world champion for the 30th time this season, for the 30th time in WHF, wins the Belgian Grand Prix. 30 wins in WHF. It is a milestone of 30 wins. Star comes home in second place. The top two stayed as they were. Ricardo will take a podium for the V-Carb team. Young Hilly Dive a mile back, who's actually under pressure from Nesev as they hit the brakes for the final time. Nesev through the bus stop chicane along with Young Hilly Dime. Nesev will take 5th, Hilly Dime in P4, and then Dino Iron Saver isn't close enough. He will take P6 there. William X will come P7 on the road. Let's arrow through. Right, as Arrow takes 7th, Wilmex in 8th, Mallard. I don't actually know what the pen situation is, so Mallard will come home on 9th, Echo in 10th, but will drop behind Gordon and Michael Louise. Gordon and Michael Louise got up to 10th and 11th, as then Echo drops down into P12. Kevin Cow, oh, wrong button. Kevin Cow drops to P13 after being pretty much a pit stop back from the rest of the top 12. He takes P13. Oven Chips will come out of the final corner in 14th. Then it'll be Tory in the Mercedes in P15. Craig Conley will take P16 for the McLaren. And then it'll be SSR Zampa, SSR Halo, and Andreas as your final 3. Aston Martin, a absolute torrential race. And for the third roll, we have had a crash, and you can just see his car at the end there. No, you can't. Where has he crashed? So, he's thrown away, I think, a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Never mind, Aston Martin will be getting points anyway. But for the third time in a row at Spa, the pole sitter has taken victory. And Cookie, for the second time at Spa, has won. As I don't actually know what's happening now. There we go. Cookie wins the Belgian Grand Prix from pole. It's win number 6 of the season. It's win number 30 in his career. In WHF, that is, at least. He's at least got 45 wins in the whole complex of SSR and WHF combined. And he's looking good to be making himself a 5-time world champion and a 3-time WHF world champion. Win number 6 for Cookie. And it is podium number 7 of the season for Star. It's his third P2 finish. As onto the podium come your top 3. There is Cookie, the American driver. Very, very dominant season. You've got an American and you've got a British driver. And then you have a man in his home race. It seems to be Ricardo gets P3 for his potential home race. Well, that's too short. It might just be that for the race. But the champagne is sprayed, and there is 3 Red Bull drivers on that podium. Obviously, not the actual Red Bull team, the V-Card team. And there is a Kick Sauber on that podium. Champagne is sprayed. They clang the bottles to celebrate one another's victories and losses. Maybe if you're thinking about how Star could have won that race. I didn't get to get the results. Incroyable. Right, so do I try... I got 2 messages from Michael. Hi, you commentating tomorrow in our league. I'll answer that later. Do we do... Let me at arrow. Go on now if I try it. Just gonna wait for confirmation to see if I actually do tier 1 interviews. I'm going to have to make a Xbox party. So first up, I will need to find Star on Xbox. Hopefully they're all on recently played with. There's Star. Ricardo. And I don't know where I ain't got Cookie. Right, okay, maybe I'm trying Discord instead. Right, hello. I need to see if this actually worked properly. Right, say something. Oh, I got an advert as you speak. That's brilliant. Yeah, it don't work. Brilliant. Yeah, worries. Right, so no interviews again because brilliant Discord. So I'll just wrap this up. So, right, thank you for tuning in for Belgium, round 8, tier 1. Cookie once again taking victory. Win number 6 of the season, win number 30 with WJF career. He got his 4th pole of the season. And he can, I think he can mathematically become world champion next race now. So, we'll wait to see what happens. But I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao, adios. I am done for today.